In the previous video, atoms part 1, about structure of the atom, we have studied how Rutherford's alpha particle scattering experiment from gold foil led to discovery of the nucleus. We have studied the nuclear model presented by Rutherford, and then we have seen the drawbacks which that model suffers from. So the model needed to be modified. Niels Bohr, he introduced a quantization condition. The problem with the Rutherford's model was failure to explain the spectral series, because spectral lines emitted by hydrogen atom were discrete, whereas Rutherford's model expected a continuous spectrum from hydrogen atom. The quantization condition introduced by Bohr was that of all the orbits which were allowed by Rutherford model, Bohr proposed that only such circular orbits are possible in which the circumference of the orbit is an integral multiple of the de Broglie wavelength of the electron. The electron in motion, we know, is associated with a wave. Using de Broglie formula for lambda, that is wavelength, we get 2 pi r equal to nh over mv, or mvr is equal to nh over 2 pi. This is de Broglie formula. Therefore, according to Bohr, the angular momentum of electron is quantized, given by Ln is equal to mvn/rn, where Vn will be speed in nth orbit and Rn will be radius of nth orbit, is integral multiple of h over 2 pi. So using this quantization condition, Bohr proposed a model of the atom. The postulates of Bohr's theory are as under. In Bohr's model, we have a nucleus. The first postulate is same as given by Rutherford. Atom consists of a small central heavy core called nucleus, having its entire positive charge and almost the entire mass. The electrons revolve around the nucleus in circular orbits with centripetal force provided by electrostatic force, or mvn square over Rn equal to k q1, this charge on electron, into Ze charge on the nucleus, over Rn square. The second condition is quantization of angular momentum, which we have already derived here. According to this condition, the angular momentum of the electron in nth orbit is integral multiple of h over 2 pi. So Ln is mvn/rn equal to nh over 2 pi. Third condition is that of stationary orbits, which solved the stability problem encountered in Rutherford's model. According to Bohr, as long as the electron is revolving in a particular orbit, it neither absorbs nor radiates energy. The fourth and the last postulate explains spectral emission, which was most important. According to this postulate, an atom emits energy in the form of a photon as it jumps from a higher to a lower energy level. The energy of the photon is given by h nu is equal to energy difference between the two levels. If electron jumps from n2th level to n1th level, higher to lower, the energy difference En2 minus En1 is emitted as a photon of energy h nu. These postulates lead us to the expression for the speed of electron in nth orbit, the radius of the nth orbit, and the frequencies emitted by the hydrogen atom, as we will study in the next part of the video. Using Bohr's theory of hydrogen atom, we can obtain expression for the orbital radii of the electron orbits and the speed of the electrons in nth orbit. We know, according to Bohr's theory, the centripetal force, that is mvn square over Rn, in nth orbit is given by the electrostatic attraction between the electron and the nucleus, that is kz square over Rn square. Let's take this equation as equation 1. From Bohr's quantization of angular momentum, we have mvn Rn equal to nh over 2 pi, that is its integral multiple of h over 2 pi. Let's take this as equation number 2. In order to get the expressions for radii and the speeds of the electrons, it's advisable to take these two equations and derive the expressions for Rn and Vn on your own, instead of just reading the books or notebooks. You'll do well to try and play with these equations, because this is simple mathematics which will lead you to the expressions. However, let's go ahead with the derivations. Using equation 1, Rn cancels out from the two sides. Here you will be left with Rn. Cross multiplication gives you this expression: Rn is equal to kz square over m Vn square. kz square over Vn square into m. Similarly, you can get Rn from second equation. Rn is equal to nh over 2 pi m Vn. This is equation number 4. We can equate these two values of Rn. We get kz square over m Vn square equal to nh over 2 pi m Vn, which implies, again you can cancel one Vn here, and you get Vn is equal to 2 pi kz square over nh. This equation number 5 leads us to the result Vn proportional to 1 over n. That is, the speed of the electron is maximum in the first orbit and decreases with the order of the orbit. Using equation number 5, that is expression for value of Vn, in equation number 4 we will get value of Rn. This simple substitution will lead you to this result. All terms being constant, we get Rn, that is radius of nth orbit, is proportional to Rn square. That is, R1 ratio R2 ratio R3 will be 1 square ratio 2 square ratio 3 square, or 1, 4, 9 and so on. From this expression we can find out Bohr's radius. Now, what is Bohr radius? Bohr radius is radius of the electron in hydrogen atom in ground state. That is, we have to put z equal to 1 and n equal to 1. We get R naught equal to 0.53 angstrom, because all these terms are constants, and except n and z, which for hydrogen atom in ground state we put as n equal to 1 and z equal to 1. So likewise, if you want to find out R2, it will be 4 into 0.93, R3 will be 9 into 0.953 and so on. The speed of electron in nth orbit you can find from here in terms of c, the speed of light. For that we multiply and divide this expression by c. Taking the constants separate, 2 pi k z square over ch into c by n. This expression of constants is called fine structure constant, and we write it as alpha. Vn is alpha into c by n. equal to 1 over 135. This is value of alpha, 1 over 137 into c by n. So in the first orbit, the speed of the electron is 1 over 137th of the speed of light. Now energy of electron, expression for total energy of the electron. The electron in hydrogen atom contains two types of energy. The kinetic energy, which we can write as Kn, potential energy, which we can write as Un. This is electrostatic potential energy of the electron due to the nucleus. So you get En is equal to kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is half mvn square. You will get the value of kinetic energy from equation 3. Cross multiply half mvn square will be kz e square upon 2rn. And potential energy is negative because one of the charges is negative. The charge on electron is negative and that on the nucleus being positive. The expression is minus k q1, that is E into charge on the nucleus Ze, which gives you kz e square over the distance, that is Rn. Simplification gives you this expression, or if you put value of Rn from here, you'll get this result 2 pi square m k square z square e4 upon h square. All these are constant terms into 1 over n square. Substituting for various constants and then expressing in appropriate units, we get En is equal to minus 13.6 over n square electron volt. The negative value of energy implies that electron is bound to the nucleus. Once again, let me clarify, and this is what I'll suggest, that you take just these two equations and forget about the rest. Get to all these results on your own by using these two equations. That is, what you have to do is you have to get value of Rn from equation 1 and from equation 2, equate them to get Rn, Vn and other expressions. Now this expression for energy helps us to explain origin of the spectral series, which we will take up in the next video, that is atoms part 3.